Hey everybody, Eric here from Bloke Games coming at you today. Doing a video. This one was actually requested by Jason, one of my followers here. He wanted to hear a session recap. I posted on Facebook last night that we were playing Dark Places and Demogorgons. And Bloke Games, for all the Dark Places and Demogorgons we played, they'd always been one-shots. But we're trying this new thing where we're playing... Got something in my glasses I can't see. Trying this new thing where we're doing a campaign, actually, as opposed to just a bunch of different one-shot scenarios to test the rules. Now we're playing like the full-on campaign. And last night was the second session. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a session 1, session 2 recap, get y'all up to date. And then as the session goes on and we play, I'll come back on and post these session recaps for you. That way you can kind of follow along in our storyline. So the first session, well, first off, I was running, and we have 3 players. Tommy Stamper, who is the cover artist. We had Josh Palmer, the co-creator of Dark Places and Demogorgons, and we had Jason Shane, who's one of the contributing authors of Dark Places and Demogorgon. Alright, and so Tommy was playing Skippy. Skippy was a metalhead. Josh was playing Tiffany, who was a pyro from the optional classes, and Jason was playing Philip, who was the punk rocker. And they each had wrote some interesting stuff for their backgrounds. Particularly Philip's background was that his parents were missing and hadn't been seen for a while, and then for Tiffany's background, she was an Irish immigrant. So, and she lived on a farm on the outskirts of J-Town with 11 siblings. She was the youngest of 12. So just kind of add some flavor to the stuff. So the game kicks off, and they are playing Dark Places and Demogorgons. The characters are playing Dark Places and Demogorgons at Tiffany's house. And Tiffany's mom busts the game up and tells everybody it's time to go home. It's getting late. It's a Saturday night. Tiffany is then instructed by her mom to ride over, follow Philip as he goes home, and then just check on his mom, because Philip's been acting funny and she hasn't been able to get hold of his mom to see what's up. So they leave and they're heading down the country road when they are ambushed by not one but 2 chupacabras. And thanks to the quick thinking of Tiffany and her Pyroconnect abilities, they are able to escape. She actually blinded the chupacabras with the flame blast, but no one else was able to see that. So like the other players don't know that she has these abilities. They get away and they get to Philip's house where they've been chased. They find that Philip has no electricity. His parents have been gone for over 6 weeks, and he's just been fending on his own, and his friends did not realize this. And but they get there and they are chased. They've been chased by the chupacabras, who are stalking them from the outside. Some events occur. The chupacabras leave. They lose interest. They actually don't break into the house, and then Tiffany's brother comes to pick them up. All right. The next day, Tiffany's mom goes to check on them and goes to check on Philip. Finds that Philip has no parents, and parents haven't been there for quite some time. It's plainly evident by the house and not having power, not having phone, not having, any of these things, not having food. And so she gets the authorities involved. Police show up. Philip runs off, as now he's a wanted teen. So as luck would have it, later on that day, Philip and Tiffany and Skippy meet up. They head into town where they run into Philip, and they see, they're in the heart of J-Town. They see the Reverend Phillips, who is not very well liked. He's heading into a video rental store, and so they go in there with the hopes of, on Tiffany's behest, on the hopes of catching him trying to rent adult videos, and she has a camera. She plans on taking pictures of it to expose this man as a fraud. He's not doing that, but he does recognize that he's being followed by these 12-year-olds, so he confronts them, and after a intense talking to and then back talking from Tiffany ends up kicking him in the nads, and they run out of there. So they're already getting themselves into the thick of hot water in J-Town. They go a little further. They are confronted by they get away from there, obviously, but then they are confronted as they're heading towards the bad side of town. They want to go find a place where the squatters go, a place to lie low so Philip doesn't get caught by the police. They are confronted by Jackson Jones and his friend in a white Trans Am. They're kind of the bullies of this town, and Tiffany uses one of her powers, which goes awry. Josh rode pretty terribly, and so everybody felt like that they were on fire, and after a brief scuffle, our players were able to get away, and that's where we ended session 1. So things were very much left unfinished. Session 2 had a lot more mundane stuff going on. We had them find their way to an apartment complex called the Ridge, and they found an unlocked door to a vacant apartment, and that's where they were hanging out. But then they had to split up because they had to go home, all except for Philip. So with school coming the next day, they went home. Tiffany and her mother have an argument because the police have come and told her that Tiffany has assaulted the preacher. Her and her mother have an argument. She ends up running away at night. Then Philip, or Skippy, when he got home, the police had also come, said that he was part of a gang that had assaulted the Reverend, and his mom grounds him for life. She's tired of his problems. So next morning he wakes up, she tells him to go to school, comes straight home after school. He goes to school. Tiffany does not. Tiffany goes and meets back up with Philip, who's still at the vacant apartment. Skippy goes to school, and during first period he's called to Miss Carson's office, the principal's office. And Miss Carson, but he decides that, you know what, this probably is the police wanting to talk to me, either to find Philip or to find out information about why we assaulted them. I'm not getting arrested. So he leaves the school. He runs out of the school, heads home, finds his mother still at home. For some unknown reason, I'm still not sure why he did this, but he went and knocked on the door, which she said, "Come in," and then he ran around and broke his bedroom window. And she heard that, but not only did she hear that, but a neighbor heard that, and the neighbor started chasing him, and there was this large chase sequence, which was pretty fun, through the apartment complex. And Skippy was able to get away. He was able to beat the adult who was trying to run him down for breaking the window. So he gets away. They meet up, and the three amigos decide that they're going to go take a walk down the train tracks to the abandoned factory, which was an old paper plant. It used to make paper. They go there, and once they get there, they start to go inside and realize that it's a little dark and spooky in there, so they're not going to do that. They come back out on the loading docks, and they see one of the chupacabras has been stalking them, and now they are kind of cornered in the middle of this abandoned warehouse with no help anywhere around. So this is the part where they should have probably ran, but they didn't. They picked up stuff and rocks and started throwing rocks and cinder blocks at this chupacabra. A brief battle ensues to where the chupacabra actually ends up tackling and in a tussle there with Philip, who Philip actually is able to punch him a couple times and pull out a knife, and with a sweet critical roll he's able to kill one of the chupacabras. Now during this fight, the other chupacabra appears and saw her mate die, and she screeched loud enough that the entire community could hear her call, and then she attacks. Well, things don't go so good for Philip at this time. Philip dies. Tiffany failed a terror roll and failed a mental power roll, and so she actually faints, and Skippy drags her inside. And as Skippy's coming back out to deal with the chupacabra to try to lure him to the door to slam his head in the door, he sees out of nowhere the son of the Mothman swoops in, grabs the living chupacabra, smacks it against the wall, and flies off with it. Alright, so this is kind of where the adventure was wrapping up. So you got one dead child, because he failed all of his death roll and his out of action table. He rolled a 6, so he is gone. And one dead chupacabra. The police, who heard the scream, because it could be heard countywide, the police come, take the two surviving children home. You know, all they can figure is this is a dog unlike a dog they've ever seen, but they figured it's a dog. So it's ruled death by attack of a rabid dog. And the parents quickly forget about them being in so much trouble because their friend just died. And that's where the adventure ends. So that was session 1 and session 2 of our campaign so far. And then next week, Tommy, the cover artist who's playing the part of Skippy, he actually is going to take over, and he wants to run a session or two to where I'm going to jump in and play. So I'm going to just be another member of their team, and Jason's making a new character. I believe he's making a nerd. Could be wrong. May have to update that. But so that is the plans, is for Tommy to run the next sessions, and then we'll continue on from there. But what I'll do is I'll give a session recap of our continuing game and let everybody know what's going on with that. I hope everybody out there is gaming. Hope you got in some games. I'd love to hear about what you were going, or what your game was like. Been enjoying watching Ivan Mike's session recaps. They've been really cool. And then Runesinger's session recaps have been awesome. So anyways, that's what I got for you today. I do want to come back a little bit later because there's some things on Kickstarter now that I want to highlight and tell everybody about. But there's enough of them that I'm going to make a full video. Plus, we're already at 15 minutes. So I've been blabbing. Most of my session recaps I'm going to try to keep down to about 7 minutes. But this was a double session one. And I really feel like I just kind of grazed on what they did. There was a lot more role-playing and stuff involved. But we, you know, had to fly past it. The surviving 2 members, Tiffany and Skippy, they did reach, because of the 2 sessions, they did reach level 2. So they are now level 2, so that's pretty cool. But that's what I got for you guys today. Hope everybody out there is having a great day. Yeah, good day and good gaming. Bye, guys.